The Homestead-Miami Speedway in South Florida. Today's NASCAR on NBC coverage coming to you with the Pennzoil Freedom 400. And high above the track today, the Budweiser.com airship, brought to you by Budweiser. With a crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer, race fans. This Bud's for you. Let's see, where's Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the Bud car? He is in 15th. This is your leader, Bill Elliott. Started on pole, has led all of the laps so far, and looking pretty good.
Has a 2.5-second lead. All right, the 2 car, Rusty Wallace, trying to work his way towards the front. This is a battle for the 5th position. I would guess that Rusty's going to take it.
Yeah, Ricky, I've been watching Ricky the last couple laps, and I don't know if this car's tight to begin with, but he's definitely having a hard time loose-wise in the center and off.
Sterling Marlin had passed him a few laps ago to take 4th away from Ricky. Now he's losing 5th and probably 6th. How about it, Bill?
Guys, he said he's burning the right rear tire up. He just came across the radio and said he let Rusty go, but he's not very happy using that right rear tire up, Wally.
Yeah, Bill, that's what it looks like. He's loose then. I couldn't tell what the car was doing getting in, but he's definitely right in the center. You can see when he gets on the gas, the car twitches a little bit. And he's not being able to get the power down to the racetrack, so he's having a hard time for the middle off right now.
Wally used the word loose, and we'll use that a lot today. Tight and loose. Here's what we mean when we're talking about loose. Go inside our virtual garage. Preferred line on the bottom of the speedway, like it is here at Homestead-Miami. Everything is found. All of a sudden, the back end will just kick out, and you go up the hill trying to chase the back. Now, that's exaggerated, but that's about what it feels like to the drivers.
Loose when the back end loses grip, tight when the front end loses grip. And the car doesn't want to turn. Michael Waltrip on the move. You gotta talk about a guy who's had a confidence turnaround of major proportions. Mikey is it. Got a new crew chief, Slugger Labby, on board a few weeks back. Michael had one of his best qualifying runs of the season here this week. He started in 8th position, had a very solid run in the Busch Series race here yesterday, finished in the top 10. And now he's just moved up to the 8th spot here in the early going.
And he's one of those cars that I believe Matt was talking about earlier. We saw it yesterday in the Busch race. He's one of those cars that can get down on the apron. There seems to be a little bit more grip down there on the apron. So if you can get the car down right, you watch Jeff Green. Anyways, below the white line, really off the racetrack. And that's where these guys are trying to get some grip.
Rusty Wallace taking 3rd. Check that, 4th from John Andretti. And Harvick going with him.
Kevin Harvick is taking the 5th spot away, and John Andretti in one straightaway will lose 2 spots.
That car way out at the top left of the screen from Rusty and Harvick here. That's Sterling Marlin. He passed all of these guys to get up to 3rd.
Here comes Michael Waltrip on the inside of Ricky Rudd. Then we'll watch Michael. Hey, Rudd's going to come back on the outside.
Michael looked like got in there a little bit too hard, and that car pushed up right in the center of the turn.
Watching this from our U.S. Army Skycam, courtesy of the United States Army and Army of One. How about Michael Waltrip's car, Matt?
Well, Alan, earlier in the race, the biggest concern was over communication. Apparently, Keith Barnwell, Michael's spotter, could not talk to Michael, so the 15 team went next door to the 8 team, their teammates, and called up their spotter, Ty Norris. He went next door to Barnwell, told him they had a problem. They brought out their backup radio. Now, Michael Waltrip does have communication with his spotter, Keith Barnwell, but luckily they do have a backup up on top of the press box.
And also, most of these guys inside the cars run a backup radio. So if you have a problem inside the car, you think it's your radio, you can actually switch over to a second radio, which helps a lot sometimes.
And as early in the day as it is, somebody's running a backup radio up to the spotter stand right now for Keith.
As we watch these cars go around the speedway, we've talked about just how difficult it is to pass and how these cars need to stay on the bottom of the racetrack. Next year, all 3 major NASCAR series will finish their seasons here. The NASCAR Busch Series, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and the NASCAR Winston Cup. And I would just hope that Curtis Gray and the folks at ISC would somehow over the winter put a little bit more banking in this racetrack to make it a little bit easier for these guys to pass. Again, the cars are also a problem because they're so aerodynamic today.
Yeah, I mean, they built a great facility here. It's just like you said, BP. It's hard to run side by side. Everybody wants to be on the same piece of real estate on this racetrack. You got to get down to the bottom. The cars push up in the center, and everybody wants to be in the same place. So it's very hard to run side by side every lap.
Let's compare the banking of this racetrack with one, for example, up the road in Florida at Daytona. Drastic difference.
Daytona, we'll inside our virtual garage once again and show you. Daytona is banked 31 degrees. This Homestead-Miami is banked 6 degrees. That's about like running the apron at Daytona. That's exactly what this picture that you're seeing looks like. Daytona with the apron there. Only here, they race on the apron.
Tony Stewart moving up a little bit here since the start. Took the green flag in 22nd position. He's up to 15th now. Scoring serial on Tony. He's chasing down Ward Burton there just ahead of him.
In talking to Bill Elliott this morning, we asked him how his car was running and what have you during our pre-race show, and he said, well, my car's pretty good, but I still think that this fella, Tony Stewart, is the guy that I've got to beat.
I'll tell you what, that corner right there looked really, really good. That's exactly where you want to have your car. Right off the bottom of the line in the middle, right on the white line, getting in and getting off. So his car looks very good right now.
Stewart, of course, the only winner in the history of this event. He's won it both times it's been run, but even though he's had great success here, he still finds this track to be pretty challenging. All right, well, we'll try that again.
Even tape machines have problems, just like these race cars have problems.
That's right. We need a rounder wedge in that tape machine, and we'll send it back out.
And here we see Tony Stewart, the 20, going by Ward Burton. Remember, folks, if you watched our last practice show, the final practice show yesterday afternoon on CNN Sports Illustrated, this car, Ward Burton, was the quickest car.
But Ricky Rudd is slipping back. They both just went by Rudd. And that puts Ricky back to 14th. It's all Bill Elliott right now. He's out in front of Casey Atwood, his teammate, and Sterling Marlin in another Dodge.